Welcome to UFO Phenomenon Podcast. For more than a century, stories have circulated of objects falling from the sky.
Some were dismissed, others became legends.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Aaron.
And in this first episode, we're exploring the history of alleged UFO crashes.
That's right. Let's begin.
We're going to start in the late 1800s in the airship era. Do you know why they were called airships?
Because there was nothing flying around in the sky back then. They didn't know what an aircraft was.
Yeah, all they knew were airships or
Chariots
ships.
of the gods, if you will.
Yeah.
Yep.
The first one in 1897 was in Aurora, Texas. I'm going to be reading some of this. One of the earliest famous crashes report a mysterious airship hit a windmill and exploded.
Crazy.
Claim pilot was not of this world and was buried locally. I heard they gave him a proper Christian burial.
Yep.
The reality is widely considered likely a hoax or exaggerated newspaper story, but that's up to the person reading about it and investigating. So many of them are alleged hoax, but we don't think that here.
No.
There are others in the 1800s to early 1900s. There was one in Nebraska in 1884, Alaska in 1800, Kansas in 1897, Chicago in 1909. Most are single newspaper stories, no physical evidence, often later debunked or attributed to meteors or hoaxes, once again.
I'm sure our government had no part in collecting the craft and squirreling them away
I don't think
somewhere.
they did that back then.
Yeah.
I don't think they were organized yet.
Maybe.
But pre-Roswell would be Magenta, Italy. Now, most of these are going to be in the United States, but that one is notable. If you are familiar with the David Grush testifying in front of Congress, he has mentioned Magenta, Italy crash. And one that's very known is in 1941 in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
That's right.
The claim was the crash with alien bodies recovered. Then the later testimony was from a minister's family. No contemporary documentation, but if you know anything about UFOs, you know about Cape Girardeau. It's a big one.
Yep.
But if you don't, and you're just now learning, you're welcome here. And
that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're all learning together.
there has been such an increase of people coming to this topic. And I want to address all you guys and welcome you to the community and kind of give you a starting point. It's taken years to get where I'm at as far as my knowledge of UFOs. Aaron followed along and then really started getting into them too.
That's right.
So welcome.
Hi.
Then there was the Trinity crash, which was real close to where the Trinity nuclear or atomic bomb test was. It wasn't really a test, it was an explosion. Yes. There were two young boys that found the crashed craft on a field they were working there for their father, or one of them's father, and they witnessed alien bodies hanging out of the craft, and it's a whole very interesting story. I actually have a book up here, Trinity.
That's right.
By Jacques Vallée and Paula Harris. Very good book. Now, the reason why people have referred to UFOs as flying saucers was because of Kenneth Arnold in 1947. That's really what kicked off the 47 sightings. Kenneth Arnold, a pilot, he reported seeing 9 crescent-shaped objects near Mount Rainier. He described them and said they were like a saucer skipping across water. Well, as of then, that's where flying saucer was born, and that's where that comes from.
Right.
And then it was just 2 weeks later when Roswell happened. And then the most important time period, 1947, Roswell.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
The golden age of UFOs. y'all.
Yes. It's the most famous case. I mean, even people that don't know anything about this know of Roswell.
Roswell has turned into a UFO mecca.
Yes.
The whole town is based around that crash.
Yeah,
so.
the funny thing is, though, the crash wasn't in Roswell. It was in Corona, New Mexico, which is about 75 miles northwest of Roswell.
Doesn't have the same ring as Roswell.
No, the United States Army out of Roswell immediately announced on the newspapers they had retrieved a crashed flying saucer. Well, set the world abuzz.
Yep.
And then a few days later, they quickly retracted that story and have said that it was an air balloon.
Yep. You've seen the pictures of the guy with the balloon crouched down next to it.
Jesse Marcel,
That's right.
yes. And he has come out, he's passed now, but through the years had talked about how that was not a crashed weather balloon because he, of all people, would know what that is.
They took pictures, of course. They had a whole flock of microphones there. They wanted me they wanted some comments from me, but I wasn't at liberty to do that. So all I could do is keep my mouth shut. And General Ramey is the one who discussed or told the newspapers, the newsmen, what it was and to forget about it. It was nothing more than a weather observation balloon.
And
He was forced to say that
Yes.
by the military.
But another thing that happened in 47 is there are other claims of a second crashing on the plains of San Augustine, which I find extremely fascinating. That's about 150 miles west of where the Corona location is. And it is thought that the UFO that crashed, or the debris at Corona, maybe it was 2 ships and they hit each other. There was a real bad lightning storm. One flew off this way and one crashed this way. There is a book about the crash on the plains of San Augustine by Art Campbell. He has found materials and things, and he's had them analyzed, and they're, not of this world, or the way they have been produced is not something that we do here on Earth.
Right.
That is like my most fascinated case. We're actually planning to go out there this summer and look around.
We are.
It's near the large array of satellite dishes run by SETI, so that should be interesting.
Exciting.
Yes. The next case would be in Aztec, New Mexico in 1948. There was claimed of 100-foot disc recovered and like 15 bodies. Don't quote me on that number. That might not be right, but that one is very intriguing as well.
There's still the cement pad on
Yes.
the ground where they had to dig the thing out with the crane.
Yeah, they couldn't support the crane in the soft dirt, and they had to build a concrete pad to support it so they could take the crash out of there. There's a book called The Aztec UFO Incident by Scott and Suzanne Ramsey, and if you're interested in that UFO crash, I would highly recommend that. They have spent their later years in life investigating this and have devoted a lot of time and money into that effort.
Right.
Highly recommend. There was an alleged UFO crash in Laredo, Texas in 1948. The claim is that there was a small craft recovered with a body. How do you say that? Spitsbergen.
Spitsbergen, Norway.
Norway in 1952. The claim there is a crash disk recovered in Arctic.
Right.
Kingman, Arizona.
Yep.
Let's talk about Kingman, Arizona, one of the most cited whistleblower crash sites. It is said that the UFO crashed and then the extraterrestrial met with not Harry Truman, Eisenhower, Dwight Eisenhower. And there's rumors and allegedly that's where they made some kind of deal with the extraterrestrial to keep everything under wraps, but in exchange for
abductions,
they would abduct, and we would get to retrieve their crashes or get donations of craft so we could reverse engineer them.
Sounds like a fair trade.
So that's a very, very interesting case. Let's see. There's lots of other claims in the 1950s. Nevada, Montana, South Africa, England, and many include military recovery stories, claims of bodies, but they're all pretty much lacking proof. The 1960s is Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. That's a very interesting one. A fireball was seen coming across the sky by multiple witnesses, which that lends credibility to the story. The object was reportedly recovered by the military. Some people say it was a meteor or Soviet satellite debris. The Kecksburg UFO was like bell-shaped. Very interesting. It's still disputed. All of these are disputed. But if you look at the paper trail, look at all the evidence, you can make your own decision. But for me, a lot of it really backs up that there was a UFO crash.
Right.
Shag Harbor, Canada. That was in 1967. That's a very well-known UFO crash. Multiple witnesses saw the object crash into the water. There was an official search by military. They found no aircraft debris. It's still classified as unidentified. So they don't think it was a hoax. They think it was something unidentified. Right. So that's a very good one to look into. It's talked about a lot in UFO history. There were quite a few in the 70s and 80s. One in Coyame, Mexico in 1974, Bolivia in 1978, Dalnogorsk in Russia in 1986. So in 1989, a man named Bob Lazar came public with a story of working at Area 51 in the Nevada desert, in a place at Area 51 called S4.
Right.
He did his first interview disguised, and he used the name Dennis. And the reason he used the name Dennis was that was supposedly his boss's name at S4. And he told working on reverse engineering UFOs.
Being inside the craft itself.
Yes.
Yep.
It's very interesting. A movie has come out recently, which is excellent, by Luigi Vinatelli, and it is S4, The Story of Bob Lazar. Yep. I highly recommend that you watch that movie and do some research on Bob Lazar because he plays a big role in the UFO story.
Yep.
The 90s era cases were the most famous one was in 1996 in Varginha, Brazil. I hope I said Varginha correctly. Varginha.
We don't speak Portuguese. Sorry.
I don't know. But James Fox has done a really good documentary of the Varginha crash called Moment of Contact. There are a ton of witnesses, military people, whistleblowers. He has also done a follow-up to Moment of Contact where a brain surgeon comes forward saying that he witnessed the extraterrestrial, and it was alive,
Yeah.
and it's a
He
very
treated it and spoke to it, and
yeah, a very
crazy.
moving testimony. The guy's very emotional about it. He had like almost died or had some kind of heart problem, illness, and he decided he didn't want to go to his grave holding this secret. So that's when he came forward to James Fox. So I highly recommend both of those movies. Another movie that I would recommend to learn about all these cases is The Phenomenon by James Fox. It is a history from the early 40s up until present, and everything going on in Congress now. Lots of interesting information. It's by far my most favorite UFO documentary. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it. There's no widely reported crashes in the 2000s. Strangely, I think the government has gotten such a handle on it that
yeah, they cover it up the second it happens.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about it.
No.
All the material is taken away.
Yep.
All the people that may or may not have seen it are shoveled off to the side and hushed.
yes.
They've got it down to a fine science.
Yep. So out of all the UFO crashes, the most credible, still unexplained, not ET proven yet though, are Roswell, Kecksburg, and Shag Harbor. Now for me, Roswell is so fascinating. My grandparents lived in Roswell in 1947, my great-grandparents. I wish so badly I could talk to them, but they're no longer around.
Dad lived there too.
Yeah, my dad lived there. He joined the Navy in Roswell. Another part of the Roswell thing was the planes of San Augustine crash. The man that discovered the crash, Grady Barney Barnett, has the same last name as my family in Roswell did, Barnett.
That's right.
Is he related? I don't know. He very easily could be. I did a little bit of research on him, and he grew up in an area where my family was, so it's possible he could be a cousin or something. We just don't know. So for me, and most people that become ufologists or into the topic end up having a favorite UFO crash, and for me it's Roswell and the plains of San Augustine.
Yep.
I just can't get enough information about it. We're going to do a episode about the plains of San Augustine later on in the summer. We're actually going to go there and film a little bit, so it'll be more like a documentary style podcast, which I'm so excited to do. We'll have lots of interviews with people. We've already got some set up, so we're looking forward to that. But really, you just need to do your own investigation. Start with documentaries. Excuse me. Read as much as you can. Luckily, we have the internet nowadays, so you can just read all you want about it. There's other podcasts I recommend. Area 52, Chris Ramsey. I'd say that's my favorite.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I really like Jesse Michaels. I love Weaponized with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. George Knapp is just a wealth of knowledge. How I would love to interview George Knapp.
Yeah.
That's a goal of mine. So, but one thing you really need to ask yourself is, if there was nothing there, why would any documents need to be declassified?
Yeah, if they don't exist, what are we doing?
Why would they spend so much money and time and effort covering it up if there wasn't anything there? You know, President Trump recently started declassifying UFO files. There's a lot of very interesting videos. There's a lot of paperwork to look through. It's like reports of UFO crashes, a lot of very interesting stuff, but no, grand thing saying we're not alone.
The aliens are real.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
And if you're waiting on the president to say that, that may never happen. I just don't know. That would be cool.
Right.
And for a lot of people, that would probably be the end-all, be-all moment that changes their mind and makes them believe. But if you even have a little bit of interest in this, do your research. When I first became interested, I just watched everything I could. I'm still like a sponge for it. I listen to podcasts and watch this stuff all day while I'm at work. It's pretty much my life 24/7.
If you're new, right now is the best time to get into it because all the hard work has been done for you.
Yes.
Everybody's learned all this and shared all this information. You don't have to look very far.
Yeah.
So perfect
just
timing.
Yeah, do your investigation and don't give up, and you'll be able to weed through the stories, some that you think are real and others you just think are stupid. But why would the universe be so huge for us to be the only beings in it? It just doesn't make sense. We can't even wrap our minds around how big our universe is.
And there's trillions of universes.
Yeah.
Trillions with a T.
When I was a kid, I can remember being very young and thinking about how big the universe was then, and we didn't even know how big it was then. So
I just screwed that up, by the way. Trillions of galaxies, not universes.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I apologize for that.
But it's a very interesting topic and never-ending information, and more come out every day. And another thing to ask yourself is, all these whistleblowers that have come forward, why would they sacrifice their clearances, their job, their livelihood?
Yep. Personal safety, that of their family.
Yeah.
That's a lot to risk on a lie.
Yeah. Why? You have to ask yourself, what would be their reason in doing it? They're not making any money off of it. They're not getting famous to where they will make lots of money off of it.
Most of them are losing their jobs, so they're not. They don't have any money.
Yeah, they're unemployed. And I commend those guys that have come forward as whistleblowers and have testified in front of Congress.
Yep.
That's a very brave thing to do. And I believe you. So if any of you are out there watching, I believe you.
I do.
So we're glad you were here today for our first podcast. It's probably a little bit all over the place. I'm sure they'll get better as we keep doing it.
Sure.
So we look forward to having you guys next time, and hopefully next time we'll have an interview.
That's right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.